As you all know, I'm selling my Toyota GR Yaris, and I spent so much time hating on German cars and talking about them on my page that, you know what, they started calling to me again, and now I'm in a place where I'm looking at buying a German car again. And it's only been about 2 years since I owned my BMW, and I got rid of my BMW because it was an absolute lemon. I'm very interested in the Mark 8 Golf R, Mark 8 or 8.5, but really it's a 8. That would be within the budget. I'm also using this opportunity to test drive and try a bunch of other German cars that I really enjoy. Today, I want to speak to you about the C43 AMG. See, when you go out into the car market, the C43 AMG, not the new ones, not the hybrid ones, those are trash in my opinion, but the previous generation, that looks like a great enthusiast buy. What's not to like? It's got the M276 V6 engine, one of the best engines Benz has made in terms of reliability. In the C43 AMG, that is a twin turbocharged engine, makes a ton of power, beautiful interior. Guys, one of the best thing about Benzes, and Benzes, they get a lot of heat on social media for having interiors that creak and are plasticky. Forget about how the interior in the Benz is going to feel and creak and all that jazz. Just when you sit in it, where you look at the aesthetics, where you interact with it, it's a beautiful interior, it's a beautiful design language, and that's one thing the C43 had in spades, right? As soon as I got into it, the beautiful AMG seats, the center console, which was carbon fiber in this one, all the little buttons for the exhaust, for the suspension, for the sport mode, all the knobs, everything you touch, the steering wheel was just top level, right? Because afterwards I sussed out the G80 M3, which is a much more expensive car, much newer generation, and that interior actually felt old. But this video is not about interiors, guys. Today I'm going to tell you why the C43 AMG is actually not the enthusiast dream that you think it is. Why do we go for the C43 AMG as enthusiasts? Why do we do it? It's because we're broke, right? It's as simple as that. I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's because we're broke. It's because we can't look at the C63 AMG because it costs too much. C43 AMG, and again, I'm not talking about the hybrid ones, right? The previous generation. New or used, especially in Australia, those things cost too much. So what do? You look at cars like the C43 AMG, and it's the same with BMWs, right? Why do we look at the M340s with the B58? Well, because the M3s with the S58, they cost too much. And it's the same thing with Audis. Why do we look at the S4s? Well, because the RS4s cost too much. This was my first time driving the C43 AMG, and immediately I was blown away by the exhaust. Everyone on the internet will tell you that exhaust is so beautiful, but you know what? That exhaust is beautiful. I'm going to show you my GR Yaris exhaust in a second. So this is just your double pipes. This is the GR Yaris exhaust, and let me just get a bit closer. That's what it looks like, guys. And the deal with the GR Yaris exhaust really is, it's like all Japanese exhausts. It's not popping, it's not crackling, it's actually pretty muted. In fact, I would say if you compare it to the Toyota 86, the Subaru BRZs, and the WRXs, the current generations, this is probably one of the good exhausts, but you know, it's not that good, right? And my BMW exhaust with the N55 was popping, right? That was a cracking exhaust. So that's what I went into it with, and as soon as I got into the C43, guys, the pops and crackles, oh, it was beautiful. That sort of stuff will make you have an epiphany. I know a lot of people love the N55 engine, they rate BMW exhaust, but I think the C43 AMG is really about the exhaust, right? That is, a lot of people on the internet will tell you, but that is truly one of the best exhausts you can get. So the exhaust was good. German cars have this thing where, you know, their suspension is just a cut above, especially BMW, Audi, Mercedes, the way everything's smooth. Even when you're accelerating, your passengers aren't bouncing around. When you take turns, the car isn't unsettled. It's not sort of rotating. Acceleration felt good. The engine felt powerful. As hot as these four-cylinder engines are, I'm talking about the M139 from the A45 AMG Benz, the EA888 from the Golf R. As hot as all these different four-cylinder engines are, guys, there is no replacement for displacement. And as soon as you get into that V6 AMG and you put your foot down, you realize that's the case. It's got two turbos, but it's not relying so heavily. There's torque everywhere. But here is where it all falls apart. See, guys, in my Toyota GR Yaris over here, one thing I want to make clear is with a GR Yaris, this is a performance car. This is a rally special, a rally bred car. And something that really separates these cars and these engines is what they do near redline and how the transmission operates when you're shifting gears. That is the two things that performance cars really need to have, and that is exactly where the C43 AMG failed, and it failed in a big way, guys, because that engine It gives you a lot of torque, a lot of nice low down torque. As soon as you start revving it out, as soon as you start maybe getting above, I would say 4.5, 5,000 RPM, it starts falling flat on its face. It says, no more. I'm done. It's time. It felt as if, especially in the lower RPMs, it felt as if it had a lot to give. It's as if it hits a psychological or a mental block at 5,000 RPM and just says, no more, you know, please, I give up. And I have a feeling that's done on purpose by Benz and AMG to keep these AMG light cars in check, right? And I feel as if that's probably something done on purpose. So that's very sad. In my GR Yaris, you know, as soon as you get up into the high RPMs, that's where it comes alive. That's what motorsport's about. That's what AMG, that's what M, that's what RS, that's what you want out of these engines. So that was one of the really disappointing things about the C43 AMG. But even that you could live with. One thing I couldn't live with, guys, was the transmission. Now, my GR Yaris over here has a manual transmission. The Benz obviously had the automatic transmission with beautiful paddle shifters, by the way. Mercedes makes some of the nicest feeling paddle shifters. I don't know why other manufacturers make them out of plastic. The Mercedes, I don't know if they're plastic / faux metal or actual metal. Paddles themselves feel great, but the transmission, I mean, you upshift, you pull the paddle, takes 2 to 3 business days to get into the next gear. During my test drive, at one stage, I knew I wanted to shift at 6,000 RPM. I started pulling the paddle at 5,000 RPM because I knew predictably it would then go and shift at 6,000 RPM. That's how bad it was. And what's weird is that the downshift was fine, right? The downshift was really quick. You put the paddle and it shifted down. It's the upshifts, guys. And the C63 does get the better transmission. Inexcusable what the C43 AMG comes with in terms of its gearbox. I think it's inexcusable. Your passengers won't notice, but you as an enthusiast will notice, and it really hurts. That slow shifting speed, and I put it in all the different modes. This GR Yaris, I don't really have many modes. I've just got sport and track and all that jazz. The AMG, it had the dynamic, the sports plus, all this good stuff. I put in the most aggressive setting, and the transmission, especially when upshifting, it just didn't want to play ball, guys, and it was so disappointing. The C43 AMG is really not made for enthusiasts. I think it's really made for the casual enthusiast, guys. Someone who just wants to get into the car and feel as if they've got a nice fast car, a nice fast Benz. They like having a bit of fun, but they're probably not even going to shift their own gears. They're probably not going to pull on the paddles. I'm not saying it's a terrible car. I mean, if you don't need that nth level of enthusiast activity, I think that's a brilliant car. You don't need to get anything better, honestly speaking. But if you're an enthusiast, that transmission and engine combo, as good as it is in a lot of different areas, when you're having 8/10ths onwards of fun, it falls flat on its face. Shortly thereafter, I test drove the Golf R, the Mark 8R. It just felt like a much better experience. That transmission, the DSG, I made a video sort of hating on the DSG and saying how smooth it was, but I test drove the Golf R and I thought to myself, okay, I get it. You know, that's why these cars are so revered and so admired with enthusiasts, because that DSG, it gets the job done in a way that the AMG could not. It couldn't even touch it. Now, did the AMG feel faster? Did it feel smoother? Was the exhaust nicer? Yes, 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 all of those things. But when it comes to enthusiasts, we're looking for certain things, guys. We're not just looking for the leather or the badge or the torque. We're looking for that enthusiast experience. We're looking for quick upshifts, quick downshifts, the ability of the engine, you know, to really rev out all the way up, right? We're looking for that stuff. It makes a huge difference to us. And that's why, sorry to say, the C43 AMG is probably not one, if you're an enthusiast, probably not one you want to buy. I hope that helps. I'll catch you next time.